What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again with another video. Sorry I'm a little late to this one. I was quite busy last night, but Nikita Gusev is signed to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Technically, it's a professional tryout. Currently, this one was broken by Cat Friendly. I believe if it was broken by somebody else, let me know. But the Toronto Maple Leafs have signed UFA forward Nikita Gusev to a professional tryout. Gusev split his time between New Jersey and Florida last season, scoring 4 goals and adding 6 assists in 33 games. Now, before we get any further into this video, I'd like to say September 25th, the Leafs' first preseason game against the Montreal Canadiens. I will be there. If you're going to be there, let me know down below. Maybe we can chat a little bit, talk some hockey, but I'm going to be there. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Also, if you are new to this channel, make sure to like this video and subscribe. Lots of Leafs content coming up, and there's been a ton already on this channel, whether it's rumors, previews, everything like that. Probably will get back to my game reviews as well this year, maybe live stream some games while I'm watching. We'll have to see. But yeah, please subscribe. It only takes a second. I know there's a lot of people that watch that aren't subscribed, but thank you to the new subscribers and all the ones that have been here since day one. I genuinely appreciate it. But I've seen some people already freaking out about this deal online. And of course, it usually happens when it comes to the Toronto Maple Leafs. There's always some craziness that surrounds even a professional tryout. Most people have forgot that there's already another player that's been signed, Joshua Ho-Sang. And again, Gusev and Ho-Sang both are very skilled offensive players. What happened to the Leafs in the playoffs this year? They couldn't score goals. They had no depth. Past the Nylander, Kerfoot, Galchenyuk line, the Leafs got absolutely nothing. Matthews and Marner, all they needed to do was step it up a little bit. But even beyond that, Jason Spezza was pretty much the only other guy that was putting up any sort of numbers. So the Toronto Maple Leafs are trying to look for guys with that can play with different styles. You got Nick Ritchie, who's a little bit more physical. He takes too many penalties, but he's more physical. He can finish. He scores a lot of goals out front of the net. They're trying not to have just one guy in Wayne Simmons who's a little tougher. They want another guy on the ice that can play in their top 6 that has a bit of grit. Bunting is a guy with some upside. He's a guy that can play up and down the lineup. He's a bit of a pest. Most people don't even realize that. He's a little gritty as well. Like a lot of people say that he tried to model his game after Brad Marchand coming up from the minors. So Bunting's a little physical, but he can also put up a decent amount of points, and he's looking to take the next step in his career. They're trying to find guys that can kill penalties. They're trying to see if they can get guys that can play on the power play. And that's where a guy like Gusev could step into this lineup. The Leafs have too many contracts that aren't doing a ton. Mikheyev and Engvall, I like some parts of their game, but if the Leafs can replace that with a cheaper cap hit where they do something really well, and in this case it would be playing offensively, Nikita Gusev would be a good replacement. I want to show you guys this chart here. I'll pull it up. This comes from Jay Fresh. This is where something that people need to be like people need to hear about, because I've already seen a lot of people talking about this. He's not good defensively. That's not why the Leafs are bringing him in. Like I hate the fact that every single player the Leafs sign magically has to be good defensively. The Leafs defense actually wasn't the problem last year, which is hilarious. Like, out of everything, the Leafs defense actually wasn't the problem. Gusev doesn't need to be some dynamite defensive winger or forward. Like I said, the Leafs are already looking for guys that they can play in those roles. They brought in Kampf to play in a depth role, who's apparently a dynamite defensive player, and I've really been looking into some of his numbers. He's really good defensively. Kerfoot's good defensively, and if you do hold on to an Engvall or a Mikheyev, they play more of a defensive style game as well, even though Mikheyev doesn't really want to play that way anymore. But this chart here, looking at the offense here at 68%, and then you see the defense at 2%, this guy's all offense. The finishing numbers are a little questionable, but if you watch any of his highlights and you watch the way the guy plays, he's got a hell of a shot, and he does know how to finish. I mean, these numbers might be a little skewed. He had a bit of an off year, but I think that on a PTO that this guy makes a ton of sense. And the other thing is, I believe he had 33 or 44 points. We'll look into it in a second, but in his first year with the Devils, and like 15 of those points were on the power play. He scored a bunch on the power play, and that's something that the Leafs really need help with. So something to look forward to if he does end up making this team. So again, professional tryout for Gusev. The 18-19 season, he had that $925, but 19-20 and 2021, he had the $4.5 million cap hit because, like I said, in that first year, he had 44 points in 66 games. Then he had 5 in 20 and 5 in 11. So not too bad, actually. When he got to the Panthers, he actually was having a pretty good run there with them, but then didn't end up playing in the playoffs. So a little weird there. But definitely something to look forward to here is that he has high offensive upside. And if he has a good camp, this is just another option for the Toronto Maple Leafs when they need a goal. Gusev is not going to be a defensive guy. He's not. He's going to get a lot of his chances in the offensive zone, like most of them. But the thing is that the Leafs do need to find guys that can score. That's just it. They need to find guys that can score. And I've seen a lot of people talking about it, but this is the truth. If you can trade a Mikheyev or you can bury an Engvall in the minors, or, bury either one of them, trade either one of them, or trade both, you're saving money in order to get guys that can give you a little bit more of what you actually need. The Toronto Maple Leafs do have a solid amount of players that do have a little bit more of the grittiness and defensive style that we've been looking for over the years. The Leafs have handpicked a couple guys that really, really do the job, and I mentioned them before. And of course, there's going to be a lot of people that disagree with that, but they probably haven't even seen them play. Like, I remember when I was talking about Kampf, people are like, oh, like, this guy sucks. And I'm like, okay, like, what tells you that? What tells you this? And he's like, I don't know. I just never heard of them. You can't just say they suck if you've never actually done any research or if you've never watched them. We have to give these guys a chance. If they suck, they suck. That's just it. You can eye test it. You can statistic it. But when certain players have left, and I've looked at the reaction, like Kampf, the reaction was, damn, this guy's good at the faceoffs and defensively he's awesome. When Richie signed with the Leafs, people are like, damn, he's gritty and he could put up some points. He looks like he's ready to take a step. Same thing with Michael Bunting. So with a guy like Gusev, all you're hoping is that he makes this roster a little more competitive. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is if you look at, and ignore the cap space, obviously the Leafs are going to have to get under because they're going to remove some of these players. I'm just showing you guys all the options that the Toronto Maple Leafs have. They have Nick Ritchie, who they just brought in, who's a lock for this team. I mean, they just signed him to come in here. Mikheyev could get traded. Engvall could get traded. Michael Bunting, he's obviously going to be in the lineup. He's got a lot to prove, but he looks like he's ready to take another step. Nick Robertson, is he finally going to get a full-time gig with this Leafs team, making it more competitive? He works his ass off, and he's looked really good in the rookie camp. Jason Spetz is a lock. David Kampf is a lock because he's going to be playing a lot of defensive minutes. Kerfoot, I mean, he's pretty much a lock. Tavares, Matthews, Marner, Nylander, of course, those guys are locked. Then on the right side, you have Kasha, who is going to have to fight for his spot on this roster if he's not injured. Wayne Simmons, again, another guy that's going to be fighting for minutes. Nikita Gusev, like we've been talking about, and Joshua Ho-Sang. I just put these guys at $900K just so that way they would show up on the roster. But this is internal competition. This is all the guys that need to be fighting for roster spots. And none of these guys have guaranteed spots. Not even Wayne Simmons, not even Kasha, not Robertson, not Mikheyev, not Engvall. The only guys that have like guaranteed spots that are new is Kampf, Bunting, and Ritchie, in my opinion. Other than that, obviously the blue line, what we've been talking about and everything, this is what the Leafs wanted to do. You bring in skilled guys, you bring in guys that bring different things to this team that they haven't had previously, and you say, okay, now none of you guys have a guaranteed spot. We just brought in another guy that's a former 40-point scorer that if he gets the offensive minutes will probably give you at 40 points again. And they're saying, take a spot. You need to take a spot. So I'm excited to see if Gusev can fight for a spot and make this team if he has a really good camp. And I'm hoping to see internal competition. I want these guys to know that this is their opportunity. You want to make this team, you want to play, you better score the lights out. And that's what they need to do. Like a guy like Gusev knows what he's capable of. He knows he can put up points. I mean, he was doing it with the Panthers. He did it with the Devils. So, like, why wouldn't he trust himself to get a roster spot? He's 29 years old. I'm sure he's looking at this and going, I really need to get another contract here. And I'd like to get it with, a million attached to it, not just, a little 900, 800K, whatever. Like, he wants to get into the millions again. He was making $4.5 million per season. This guy knows that he can play, and I'm hoping that with the Leafs that he definitely proves that. So let me know what you guys think. Again, this is just a PTO. He could come in here, crap the bed, play terrible, and not make the team. But he's a guy that's put up 40 points not too long ago. He looked good with Florida, and he's got a hell of a shot. He could improve the power play. They just need offense, and I think that this is good depth. So let me know what you guys think. Love and appreciate you guys as always. Thank you for watching. And more player previews, more rumor videos if it's coming. All that stuff is coming up, and I've got some stuff lined up that I think you guys will like. Peace.